Okay. All right. So let's get this show on the road. As you guys can see, Bitcoin is finally recovering a bit. Bitcoin was chilling right around 33, 34K not too long ago. I mean, if we take a look at the hourly chart and zoom in, just yesterday we were as low as 33K, 33,200. Things were looking pretty dicey. People were getting nervous as we were approaching that $30,000 figure that a lot of people think is the last hope. If we break below that, some people believe we may go into a bear market. But just to show you guys what I've been doing as of late. I've been dollar cost averaging into these crypto coin list with Bitcoin. This is my updated. It's getting more and more bare bones AF. But yeah, so these are the levels that we're going to be looking at. I'd say probably for the next few weeks. We may break lower, we may see 30K Bitcoin. We may see 25K Bitcoin. It could potentially be in the cards. You need to be prepared for whatever happens. If, we start rallying up to the upside like we are right now, or like we kind of are right now for the past few hours, past 12 hours or so. Take profits along the way. That way, if we do end up going lower than where we were just yesterday morning, you can take advantage and buy the dip and buy more than the position that you have currently in whichever altcoin it may be, or maybe just Bitcoin. But I'm going to be going over a few things that I've been purchasing on the way down. Bitcoin's one of them. I'm sure you can take a guess as to which other altcoins are on that list, just taking a look at this. But, anyways, enough with that. So, Bitcoin has been getting aggressively bought around the lower to mid $30,000 price range. Short term holders or short term hodlers, people who've gotten into crypto the past year, have been handing over their Bitcoin to older whales, people who've been in crypto for a bit longer, who have a bit more conviction with what they believe, when it comes to Bitcoin, crypto by and large. And the older whales have been the driving force in price reversals in recent history. As soon as the whales start buying like crazy, usually we see some sort of reversal. So if like Bitcoin's in a downtrend, like we saw back here, if you go see, this is why you need several charts. But yeah, as you can see, we went as low as 29K, and this was the range that a lot of the whales were buying. They were accumulating below 30K. And so anytime Bitcoin went lower than 30K, it got bought up immediately. So why is this such a big deal? Well, they're the driving force that basically indicates a reversal in the market. So as soon as they start buying like crazy, we could see an upside to the market. So these are the whales that essentially bought Bitcoin anywhere from like a year or two ago to potentially 5 to 10 years ago. And they sold on the price run up that we saw in quarter 2 of last year and quarter 4, when Bitcoin went initially up to 64K and then in quarter 4 to roughly 69K. And they're now buying that same Bitcoin that they sold off and then some at a huge discount. So that's very cool for them. Good for them. But basically, moral of the story is like, don't be selling your Bitcoin at a loss. Don't be panic selling your Bitcoin, because these whales are just buying it like crazy. To give you some perspective of how crazy these whales go in and buying the dip. Like this one particular Bitcoin wallet has been buying anywhere from two to like $18 million worth of Bitcoin every few hours. Like he's got this on a schedule, he or she, or maybe it's an organization or whatever. But yeah, this single Bitcoin wallet has over $1 billion of Bitcoin just sitting in it. Like, why is it significant? Well, there's more whales out there like this that are just accumulating Bitcoin. If they're not pumping millions of dollars into Bitcoin, they may be pumping hundreds of thousands of dollars into it. And you have to realize, like, over time, this shit adds up. And it's just a matter of time before there's a supply shock because besides this, you have your Mr. Wonderfuls, you have your Michael Saylors with MicroStrategy, you have Paul Tudor Jones. For example, like Paul Tudor Jones, in a previous video I did, talked about how he doubted Bitcoin for the longest time. And he saw it had real potential over the years, and he saw it as like a real hedge against inflation. That's something that we don't have control over, and buying Bitcoin is something we do have control over. So he got bullish on Bitcoin and he started buying Bitcoin. And more people, like a very similar conclusion to what these people are doing, if not the same exact one. Um Combine all of that with the people like you and me, the shrimps, the people who just got into crypto within the past year or two, or maybe you've been here the past few years but you haven't been very active and you just hop back in, start getting more active. But combine all of that, it's perfect storm for supply shock. No one knows when it's going to happen, but with that supply shock, there's not going to be very much Bitcoin available for purchase, which is going to drive up the price. It's very simple economic supply and demand. And I get it. Like things have kind of looked pretty gloomy the past few weeks with everything going on between stocks and crypto tanking like crazy, seeing pullback in the market all around and a lot of assets, and probably most of them, not all of them. And you know what? Things are going to rebound sooner or later. I'm not going to tell you it's going to rebound this week, next week, because no one freaking knows where this market's going to go. But you just need to focus on what you can control, like focus on getting enough rest, enough sleep, eating right, spending time with friends and family, because you can't be glued to the screen, okay? Like you can't. It's not healthy. It's not healthy to be staring at your portfolio 24/7, especially on red days. On green days, look at your portfolio as much as you want and take profits, like be active. But like on red days, it's horrible to just sit on your phone. It's counterintuitive unless you're like being proactive and like coming up with strategies of like how maybe you're gonna like work more hours to like make some more money, because like now is when you make the money, you guys, when things are like looking bearish like they are right now. Like when things are down for the count, things are on fire sale, that's when you want to scoop them. So basic shit like buy low, sell high. It sounds simple, but it's easier said than done. And you know what? It's kind of old news, but Bitcoin outperformed gold and S&P 500 over the past decade. This is pretty big, you guys. I mean, if you compare the returns that you would have received on Bitcoin the past decade compared to gold and S&P 500 past decade, you guys, S&P 500 would have got you 277%. That's nothing to scoff at. Look at gold. You would have lost 0.25%. Not that very much money, but it's not good. And then look at this. Bitcoin 437,171. That's nuts. So, I mean, you do the math. The return on investment's ridiculous with Bitcoin. And you know what? There's clear demand for Bitcoin among not only citizens, investors, institutions, but also countries. I'm sure you guys have heard El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender last September. Pretty big stuff. They're the first country to do so. They're one of the many countries across the globe that's experiencing crazy inflation, and they realize Bitcoin making it legal tender and putting on their balance sheet and accumulating it is going to serve as a hedge against inflation over the years. So that's good for them. And it's kind of setting up their country for prosperity down the road. Yeah, Bitcoin's price tomorrow, next month, might tank another thousand, 2,000, 5,000, $10,000. But long term, again, it's going up, like I'm not trying I'm not trying to sell you Bitcoin, but like it's again basic supply and demand. More and more people are going to want it, and there's going to be less of it available for purchase, so the price is going to go up. Going back to El Salvador, sorry about that. Since making Bitcoin legal tender, they've been ruthlessly buying Bitcoin anytime it's tumbled downwards a few $1,000s. Just yesterday, for example, or yet just yesterday, President of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, tweeted out how his country bought 410 Bitcoin, the price of roughly $15 million. This is roughly the price of $36,600 a Bitcoin a pop. But they probably got it maybe a bit cheaper and they bought it off the counter or OTC. So maybe it didn't affect the price whatsoever. And though El Salvador has been criticized by the IMF for making Bitcoin legal tender, other countries are looking to follow in El Salvador's footsteps as they're seeing how Bitcoin can hedge against inflation. Sorry. Blah. Other countries who aren't directly buying Bitcoin, like El Salvador, and adding it to their balance sheet, are still somewhat involved one way or another with Bitcoin. For example, like Canada had launched their Fidelity Bitcoin Spot ETF. That's pretty big. The one in the US got shot down, unfortunately, last year. They always like wait till like the last minute to shoot it down for some reason. I guess it's just to like hype everyone up and then bye. It's not happening. It'll happen probably in the next couple of years or next few years. Again, not going to put a date or time on that, but I'm going to guess next few years. China, for example, not too long ago had the large majority of the Bitcoin miners up until roughly the past year, which is when we saw the miner exodus out of China. Bitcoin miners started spreading into countries like the USA that I'm in, Kazakhstan, Russia, a few countries that come to mind. And Russia recently has taken a play out of China's playbook and has gone on to say that they want to ban cryptocurrency to some extent within their country. And so maybe those miners will have to move to other countries. Who knows? Either way, what I'm trying to say is, though things look dark and gloomy right now, because portfolio value drop anywhere from like 20 to 50%. I'd say my portfolio is down like 35, 40% if I'm being 100% with you guys from the all-time high. The volatility is what you pay for the stupid gains you can make in this market. So you just got to be aware of that. And you have to anticipate any, if not all, the scenarios that you can think of that come to mind. And again, like timing the market is not as important as time in the market, because over the months and years that you're in this market, you learn so much. I've only been realistically in cryptocurrency roughly about a year, decently dedicated to it. Like I'm putting like a few hours a week into it. I'm like learning more and more about it. I'm not as invested into it as some of my other friends. Like they know how to use MetaMask and stuff. I'm like super bare bones when it comes to it. I know about the apps and that's about it. I don't really mess with the dApps and all that. I'm just, I'm here to try and make life-changing wealth, try and do stuff on my own accord and my own schedule, and hopefully try and teach people a few pitfalls that I made so they don't make the same ones. But yeah, like look at this. So like the past 30 days, like engines down a whopping 51%. This is like when you want down when they're stupidly discounted. Like, look at Solana. Solana's been being slept on, is being slept on right now because their network's gone down a few times in the past year. Like some of these other networks go down several times in just a few months. I'm not trying to shill Solana, to be honest. I bought some. I didn't buy as much as I wanted to because it's kind of running low on capital, if I'm being 100% with you guys, because I deployed a large chunk of my cash reserves when we started crashing like last Thursday and Friday. It was pretty awesome in the moment. I felt kind of bummed out Saturday and Sunday because I was like, oh, I gotta like make these last few $100. Like, um, I gotta make them last. I gotta stretch them a bit. But yeah, this is like when you want to be buying stuff, guys, when they're massively discounted. Like look at the 90 days. V Chain's down 58%. Polkadot is down 54%. Like that's the thing, dude. Like people are like, "Oh, Solana's, like a third of its price." Dude, Polkadot is roughly a third of its price. A lot of these cryptos are like a third of their all-time high price. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them. Like, look, Cardano, Solana, Chainlink's pretty close. What I'm saying, like, there's a lot of steals to be had in the market. Just to give you some perspective as to what I bought this dip, I mainly focused on VGX, Bitcoin, Polkadot, Somatic, and some Ethereum. Again, I spread out those buys. So as you can see, I bought some VGX at 225 a pop, bought 25. I bought another 25 at 215. I bought 30 at 205. And then, like with Bitcoin, I bought dollar cost averaging down because like I showed you previous video, I bought Bitcoin at like 60K, 50K. I need a dollar cost average down from that. So I'm buying a little bit here at 41K, a little bit more at 39,500, a little bit more at 37,500. Not as much as I'd like to, but it's better than nothing. I'm grateful that I had this cash to deploy, when the dip happened. Again, not as much as I'd like to, but I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to seize the moment, and I still have a little bit of cash on the side to deploy if we go a little bit further. Um, if we go down a bit further, if I'm going to prioritize, I mean, things can get really dicey, so I'm probably gonna play it stupid simple and just stick with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and probably VGX. Like VGX is a token that I want to accumulate at these stupid low prices. Like I'm trying to bring down that dollar cost average because prior to roughly last week, I was sitting at like a $3 uh cost average basis for VGX token. Now I'm sitting at like 290. If things go sideways for like the next year or two, I'm perfectly fine with that. Like as much as I want to make life changing wealth, you guys, like now is the time when you want to be accumulating these assets when they're massively discounted. This is how you make the money. You buy low and you sell high. It's not complicated. We make it way harder than it needs to be. Like try to have 20 cryptos in our portfolio, and then we're like, what price did I buy it at? Oh shit, I sold it too early. Like, you know what I mean? Like you have to keep it simple. And that's the thing. Like I've honestly been questioning whether like my current portfolio is too big or not. The bare bones as fuck. Like that portfolio, this right here, I like it, but I think I might need to even make it more simple. Like I might need to eliminate one or two of these, maybe even three of these. Like if we're being completely honest, like I'd probably get rid of Engine Coin, I'd probably get rid of V Chain, and then I'd probably get rid of Solana. Like I really like Luna. Polkadot's pretty solid, Matic's pretty solid, Link is really good, VGX, like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and like honestly, if we go full bear, you guys, I don't think we're going there yet. If we go full bear, like Bitcoin goes, let's say 25, 20K, even 15K, I don't think it'll go that low unless we like have something like beginning of COVID happen again where Bitcoin goes to like 3K. I don't think it'll go there again, but let's say hypothetically it were to crash, like I'm literally gonna stick with Bitcoin and VGX. I'm gonna make a detailed video as to why I'm gonna do those two cryptos specifically and not anything else. But I'm super bullish on those two coins. Go into more detail on that in a future video. I'm gonna try and be more consistent with the streams, you guys. I'm sorry, I've just been working like crazy. Been trying to sleep more because, to be honest, majority of my life I've been like, oh, I don't need to sleep. I can sleep later. I can sleep later. I can sleep later. And I'm like really, really learning the past few years like how important sleep is. And like when you don't sleep right, you don't operate properly. You get sick more easily. Like it's not a good time. So please turn off your phone when you go to sleep. Get some rest. Get some Z's. Um, and yeah, if you guys found the stream helpful in any way, shape, or form, please like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I post a new video like this. And I will see you guys next time. Have a great day and invest wisely. Take care.